because we got to talk about the Pistons. I want to take at least a few minutes here to talk about Detroit because right now, first place in the Eastern Conference, and they look like one of the better teams in the league. So the obvious shout out, of course, goes to Cade Cunningham because he leads the team in scoring. He's almost averaging 30 points a game. I don't want to say it too early, but can we talk about MVP for Cade Cunningham? 27.5 points, 5 boards, 9 assists. So he's almost averaging a double-double, shooting 43% from the field. And from three-point land, let me see if I can find the exact stats here. From three-point land, shooting 28%, which is not ideal, but obviously still very early. You give him a little bit, he'll probably find that 35% range, which is where he was the last couple of years. Give him enough time here. It's only been 11 games. But Cade Cunningham's playing at an elite level. And obviously, I think the media, I don't want to say they're not focusing in on him, but I think they're starting to kind of get the focus in on. I mean, even on the one of the advertisements the start of the season, they were using Cade Cunningham as one of the players they were showing off. So I give him credit. You know, I think he was a former number 1 overall pick, so the league has an incentive to make him a star or to make him a name that people recognize. Now, when he really will make it is when we start seeing him in commercials, okay? And not just local commercials, not just the Cure Auto Insurance, okay? The other guy, though, that I want to shout out is Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren has been playing like an absolute dog. And I'm going to say this name, and it's going to trigger some people, but allow me to explain because I don't think it's actually as bad as it sounds. He is like Andre Drummond right now. He is a double-double machine. He is 12 rebounds, 19 points a game. And I know people say, "Oh my gosh, Andre Drummond, I hated that team, those teams with Drummond. He would be an all-star, but he was never a good leader." And look, I guess that's kind of my point. Andre Drummond never had any good teams around him to really be able to utilize him at his prime. Jalen Duren now has Cade Cunningham, and he's got some shooters as well around him. You know, I didn't even mention guys like Duncan Robinson, who's been playing excellent ball recently. Obviously, you're also dealing with a lot of injuries right now, so you don't have Jaden Ivey, you don't have Marcus Sasser, you don't have Tobias Harris, you don't have Isaiah Stewart. Those guys will come back. They'll be healthy. They're insulating Jalen Duren. And right now, for sure, I think he is an all-star. I mean, if you're averaging a double-double in this league and you're not an all-star, I don't know what an all-star is. The other thing to point out, he is 21 years old, and he is averaging a double-double. If you think that he's going to get worse, what exactly does worse even look like? He's averaging 18 points and 8 rebounds a game. That sounds pretty good to me for a starting center. In my mind, he's only going to get better. You know, if he's 21 years old, he's getting into the maturity of the league. He's building up strength. He's building up, you know, that kind of muscle memory of how to, you know, get into the ball, getting the rebounds. I will just say, I went into this season. I really like Jalen Duren. I thought he was a good, like, enforcer player. I think he was a pretty decent rim protector. At about the 10, what is it, the 9 or 11 or 10 games into the season, I feel great about Jalen Duren. I think he is, you know, one of the next potential star centers in this league because he is physically dominant and he is really helping this team win. And of course, there's other shout outs, guys like Sar Thompson, who unfortunately has been hurt as well. I already mentioned Duncan Robinson. Ron Holland, I think, has been playing excellent off the bench. Obviously, the points are not totally there, but the impact that he's making is very good. Shoots 40% from the field. I want to say he's been doing real well from 3 overall. Yeah, 30% from 3, which is a 7% increase from where he was last year, which is massive. And again, he's coming off the bench. He's an enforcer. You know, you want to talk about enforcers? I talk about Jalen Duren. This guy is an enforcer. He is tough as nails, and he will drive to the basket. He's got the athleticism, and you can't leave him wide open either because he can shoot that 3. He really can. So, look, right now the team is firing on all cylinders. They're in the first place in the standings in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they have the best record in the league overall, but they've got a pretty, I don't want to say a tough stretch, but an interesting stretch coming up. So they got Chicago on Wednesday. That's going to be a big game, especially you don't know what the status of Cade Cunningham is going to be. You're already dealing with a lot of injuries. It might be a kind of scheduled loss. Hey, you've won 7 games in a row. That's fine with me. You got Philadelphia at home. You just had a massive win against Philadelphia on the road. They're going to be wanting some revenge. If you can split these next 2 games, I'll feel good about it. You got Indiana at home. That game should be a win. Indiana is very, very bad. That should not really be a question mark, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And then you go back on the road here. You got Atlanta, Milwaukee, Indiana, and Boston. And that'll basically, there's a few more games after that in the month of November. You got Orlando and Miami on the road, Orlando back at home. There's a lot of these games. I think the Pistons are just straight out the better team. Like Chicago, it's kind of a question mark. I don't really trust them. I think the Pistons are probably the better team, but injuries might be difficult. Indiana, I feel like that's going to be a win. You got them twice, so that's 2 wins. Boston, I think that's a win. I don't think Boston is the team they were last year. Orlando, that's a team that is really struggling out of the gate, which sucks because I thought they had a pretty good offseason with Desmond Bane. Atlanta's always kind of this weird, interesting team. You never know what you're going to get. Basically, since that Eastern Conference Finals run, I don't know. They don't know what to do. They're fumbling the bag right out of the gate. And look, the other thing to point out, obviously, it's very early. Okay, so we're not going to make large-scale judgments about the Pistons are making it to the NBA Finals. Cade Cunningham's going to win the MVP, and they're going to be the best team in the East. It's going to no contest. I'm old enough to remember last year's Cleveland Cavaliers, okay? Just because you're playing really good to begin the year, just because you're dominating teams, you're winning a bunch of games in a row, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be doing that in, February or in March or, in the playoffs. But this team is hurt right now, and they're still winning games. So when they start to get healthy, when Ivy gets back on the court, when Stewart goes back on the floor, when Tobias Harris is back, when Asar Thompson is back, it's addition without actually having to spend anything. You don't have to go out and make a massive trade right now. There's not really, you can just coast with waiting for guys to get healthy, basically. Also, I do find this very, very funny. I'm assuming this is for the Pistons. Every single game except for one, Cade Cunningham has led the team in points. Every single one. The only one that he didn't was when Jalen Durham dropped a 30 bomb on Dallas in Mexico, which is pretty crazy. Pretty darn crazy. So, anyway, I really like how this team is looking. I think JB Bickerstaff, he has coached these guys up, and they are not going down without a fight. That's for sure. I mean, last night's Washington game, that was crazy. I think pretty much, I think it was after CJ McCollum made the hook shot where he drove. I was like, oh, okay, this game's over. I'll have it on, but I'll, just in case, a fight breaks out or something interesting happens. The fact that they won that game tells me everything I need to know about coaching. It tells me everything I need to know about player development. Dennis Jenkins is a G League player, and he's a Summer League player. And to be fair, to his credit, he plays pretty well in the Summer League, and he plays pretty well with the G League. He's a decent depth guy. He's some undrafted guy, and he goes out and has the game of his life right when we need it. In a back-to-back spot. Guys are hurt. You need people to step up if you want to beat a bad Washington team, and they did. So, the vibes are immaculate in Detroit. Now, granted, in a week, vibes could be completely not immaculate. That's entirely possible. It's the way the basketball is. It's a long year. But I wouldn't be surprised also. I know that the Pistons do have a lot more national TV games. They got a game against Boston that's going to be on ESPN here in a few weeks. And hopefully by then, I'll actually be able to watch it. That would be nice. But I don't know what the what's the word? I don't know what the flex thoughts on some of these games would be because, look, I think fans in the NBA especially, I think they would want to see a Cade Cunningham, right? I mean, if he's playing at an MVP level, which he is, why not? Why not put him on when it's, I know this game, they're not going to flex this Bulls game, but, why not flex, say, the Pistons up against Milwaukee this upcoming Saturday, or a week from this Saturday, I should say. You know, it's already an NBA TV game, but still. So, yeah, vibes are immaculate. I really like how this Pistons team is playing. They're a lot of fun to watch. And if you're not a big NBA guy, if you don't watch the Pistons, if you're, I know a lot of people watching the channel, primarily Lions fans or Michigan State fans. Look, turn on an NBA game. Turn on a Pistons game because it's certainly not. The brand of basketball they play is a lot more fun than you would think. It's a lot of dunks, a lot of driving to the basket, a lot of fadeaways, a lot of just fun basketball. So they're on FanDuel Sports Detroit. Go ahead and find a way to watch them. I'm not gonna endorse any particular way, but find a way to watch them. How about that? Hey, YouTube, if you like clips like that, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We've got live shows every Tuesday night. Hope to see you there.